All right, we are live. We have one heck of an epic show today, Woo Woo Wednesday, but really it took so long to get it organized. It's Thursday, but that's okay. We've come up with one hell of a game plan. We're traveling the whole realm, but we're starting it off with David Stig, who's been to the Eye of the Sahara twice, supposed Atlantis. He's going back again for a third time, and I'm going to propose at the very end of the stream, maybe start a GoFundMe to try to go with him. But if
Let's all go.
Julia Hans too, right? And Zertus we're going to invite, maybe Stellium 7 because he's in Spain, and that's where you got to go to then travel into Morocco. And that so this year, either way, Stig's going back, and even if
I'm going back, baby.
If we can't make it with you this year in person, we're gonna be there with you live from like uploads you do. We'll try to, well, at the very least, crowd fund this man a freaking
That sounds good.
Elon satellite connection that we can live stream from there. And then what the real goal is that we'll be talking about at the end is a year plan for a fourth time that will do an actual big expedition aimed to go in for a month or two and do LiDAR scans, talk with like the local tribes, investigate all sorts of ancient sites, and actually take a look at on the ground, exploring, getting more evidence of these past macro terraform structures. And it's like it's either, oh, you're absolutely crazy, how can Atlantis that sunk into the sea be in the middle of Africa? But for those that don't know, you look into Jimmy Bright Insight and all the work he's shown with extensive evidence, and even on some of the ancient maps, it literally states in the Sahara right over top of where the eye of the Richat structure is, Atlantis. And yeah, so
Look, everybody knows the Pillars of Hercules was basic direction. Oh, it was beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Yeah, it's far. It's not like it was in the Atlantic. But another thing Plato mentions is that he mentions there were diverse islands in the open sea. So which you can't have it both ways.
And I've got to give some back. There's an ancient shamanistic creation story of the five sons, and that there was the master builders, then essentially there were the demigods, the legends of like Thoth, the bird head man, and all of the Egyptian all of the ancient demigods, but they were essentially half animal, half human. And then you have the legends of the Titans, and when you get into Stellium 7's work, at Roger at Mud Fossil, as well as Hangman 12 with Titan trees, that there was the third age of the Titans, which was also this Lemuria time. And then there was the fourth age, which was Atlantis, and they would have been the giants. And that there was Atlantis, the main city, which is described as the circular city that literally is what the Eye of the Sahara, the Richat structure is. And then these other 13 other major cities or colonies and continents, and that there is essentially also the lost continent of Atlantis out in the Atlantic, and then the last continent of Lemuria out in
really quick, Blavatsky is like the Polarians, the Hyperboreans, the Lumerians, the Atlanteans,
exactly, right?
The sixth root race, and then the seventh.
So in this like hyperdimensional reality, that then it's like, well, that it incorporates both God and creation. It also incorporates like a simulation sort of structured matrix, and then it also makes sense with these time traveling gray humanoids that are supposedly from the future, but it's also like, or the whatever time they're from, they are a form of human that is in this dimensional matrix fractal of time, like stuck within time. And that's why it's also like there's these stories of them either being like AI-ish or without like a soul or something like that, and that it kind of makes sense, and that they could also tie into these like angel things and anything that's like time.
Or if they're an earlier form of a
it's
clone too, and they'd have to upload their consciousness and then all operate off of like a one system AI type upload.
right. Well, and so one last thing to include into this is we're in this third dimensional realm, right? It's like good, bad, and then our conscious choice of what to do with it. And then when you get to quantum, that's also consciousness over time. So then anything that's like a demigod or higher sort of creation or existence through time is essentially a quantum or higher life form, universal existence, but also technology. And that the stories of like magic that you hear of is just this higher dimensional, higher God, higher technology. And that it seems that humans potentially were living in as these fourths or as giants, as titans, but also on these other realms and planets. And that's like the asteroid belts is I believe is what was where humanity or giants or this higher god thing could have been. Mars was a moon of it. That's why one half of it's like covered completely in craters, the other half no damage, and shows all sorts of pyramids, giant freaking master builder, the pyramid builder. So that's this demigod or multi-worldly, multi-translational master race or whatever built the pyramids. But it's that you're not crazy when you look at the evidence of just how giant in scale this stuff is, and whether it's called alien or called demigod or called whatever, that we ourselves are essentially a fractal of it, but stuck into this third dimension. And that it makes sense also when you hear that, oh, prison planet, or we're stuck on this planet, that it's like, well, humanity as a consciousness, as a physical life, is stuck here until we stop killing ourselves. And then, you're allowed into this higher dimensional realm. But first you have to stop murdering yourselves before, you can go elsewhere.
And also stop being controlled. Money is slavery.
So another thing too is the cognitive dissonance and telekinesis and honesty, though, right? If you're lying to yourself first, if you're scared, if you don't want other people to read your thoughts because you're being deceptive, well, then you put off a dark aura and you close yourself off. But as I'm sure Julia, as a remote viewer and like dealing with energy stuff like that, you can relate to what I'm sort of saying. But that spiritually and consciously, as this Western and even Eastern civilizations that we exist as right now, and that there is always this divide, and that the East still has its connection to its memory of its ancient, like godly,
Right,
and
especially now that we're
ancestral
plugging more
energy.
into technology and more into our phones and everything, like it's more important than ever, and things that are going to be implemented and with AI and where that's going, we need to
Right,
we need to be able
exactly.
to balance that out with having our own spiritual connection of connecting to that source. And
So
so
the one thing I see with the AI, and the singularity event, right? It's like, oh, what happens when we have singularity and it all hits and blah blah blah. Well, it's like, and we're all afraid of it, but it's that it's just could be a boom. Oh shit! It is all us ourselves too, all over again. And we're just essentially. It's like, oh, it's humans that are doing it, but I'm also that human from my past life, like just the eternalness of who we are, what we are, and like the memory of it, sort of thing. And that essentially AI has to be already included in the construct of how this universe works. And that's how the ancient alchemists talk about this god code, and you have to have the spirituality into it. It's you're reconnecting the past with the future, well, with the present.
well,
And
it seems to be like Atlantis destroyed itself because they advanced too much technologically, but it superseded their spiritual knowledge, of where they were at spiritually. So that's why it's like really important to have that balance. especially as more advanced you get with technology.
And our experience with it is going to be very different than what we see in the movies. Oh, the movies are very
It can help
outrospective.
organize things.
It's
And
outrospective. It's looking in from a higher plane, going, "This is what's going on with AI intersecting with humanity." But our own experience with it is going to be so vastly different. It already is. It's like, wait, there's already these apps out there that can rewrite my entire history. This is strange.
How many of your friends, especially lady friends, have a memory of being alive in Atlantis in a previous life? Have you had any of those, Julia?
Yeah,
Right. So
I've had like
I
3, my
myself-
mom, and then 2 others.
I never had Atlantis, but I have had reoccurring dream life since like a youngest of child of a life existence on Mars, and like that I was having dreams of like flying cars, but also like these tornado things that like chased me while like there was like authorities chasing me when I was only like 5 or 6. This was long before like the movies came out with these ideas of stuff of like tornado coming out of the face and all of like the
Mission to Mars.
and
Yeah.
I do
aliens and
past life
all of that
regression, so
stuff.
if you ever want to do a session and find out who and what you were, I'll totally do one for you.
Would love it.
It was my
But yes,
mother. I was raised. In fact, I hated the idea. I hated UFOs because
Stig, sorry.
I grew up in a
What
UFO
you
household.
brought up though of ladies, one person that I vastly respected who has since passed. I never actually got to meet her, but she actually is from the same city as me, Calgary, Alberta. Carmen Bolter of the University of Calgary, and the amount of work she did in Egypt and exposing all the stuff there. But she in all of her videos, if you've ever seen her work, constantly talks about her past life regression exactly. And even in the Netflix series The Pyramid Code that she did, there's segments constantly of her talking about her dreams and past life experience of existing in Atlantis and her memories of the time in Atlantis.
There you go. One more then. And like I said, just recently I was talking about Atlantis, and they're like, I feel like I was there. It's like interesting you said that because I was raised around people saying they were there. But I like to. You guys are all too smart for me because I get a little bit intimidated from all this vocabulary. I just know what I see. I just recognize. I'm a Google Earth.
Nah, dog.
I have a few opinions.
So let's talk about the Eye of Africa for a minute. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, look. Let me do this real quick. Before I do, let me just do this because I want to get rid of this picture behind my head, and I've been waiting to talk about it. Okay. If you see up there under the flame, that's Western Sahara, but you don't see the word Western Sahara. You see it over my head right there. Oh, you can't see my mouse. Yeah. Okay. Where? Right? No,
the other side. Yeah.
Let's try. There we go. Right there.
Yes, everything is mirrored, right?
Well, I wanted it to at least read from left to right. That's the Western Sahara. It was liberated from Spain. Forgot the year. And then now they're fighting with Morocco. Morocco claims it, but they're also independent. So that says Rio de Oro, River of Gold. Now, if you know about Mansa Musa, and you know that the ancient Taman Rasset River went right through there. I can't do it because the picture is messing it up. But right out, the hook. I'll show you later. It's right there. And the River of Gold, it said it right there. That's what they called it. The Spanish called it River of Gold. And
so that was El Dorado in a weird way.
I'll show you in another thing later that's the ancient Taman Rasset River. Let me do one more thing. I'm going to get rid of that. Whoops, not that. I don't want to stop the cam. I want to get rid of that picture because that thing's bugging me.
Sorry, while you do that, comments I put up, did Pyramid Code get put on Netflix? That's a bit surprising. And it's like,
you can find it. You can find it on YouTube.
But that it's getting that sort of mass exposure and free on Netflix streaming, and that it's that counter in of the narrative, that they're allowing it, and that it's awesome that they did do that, and then that's probably essentially what then led to Graham Hancock getting his series on it and showing it, and them allowing this alternative history in mainstream media
Graham
platform
came well before Kamman, let me tell you.
right?
Well,
It's like
Graham is giving it to us. Like Randall Carlson keeps his secrets, but I met him both 2 Easters ago, and Graham was such a dear. I love Graham so much. And I saw him again when I saw Jimmy at CPAC. It's right near where I'm located.
I went to school with Santa's children before Graham,
Did
so
you?
it's kind of
Oh my God.
weird that
That's also Graham's children, or
no,
yeah.
they were her children before she married him. She married him.
They had other children later?
Yeah.
Let me give you a couple of intros because it's early in the show. First of all, in a different lifetime, I wrote 2 books. You're in Alberta, so I figured I'd let you know that the oil.
I used to live in Calgary, so amazing.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
It's amazing.
Hans too lived at one point in Calgary, where I currently live.
Good
God.
friends.
Ferrari.
I went to Calgary twice. This is a true story, and I went there twice. And this is the sequel. This is the first book I did. It's not porn. It's not sex tourism. I lived in Taiwan during the SARS outbreak. That's COVID-02, and I wrote a book about it. And then, like 10 years later, people. Oh, by the way, you can get these on Amazon for free. You can, if you're a Kindle subscriber, you can read them for free. Look up Gitz Ferrari. Just remember, Gitz is Stig. Stig is Gitz, and Ferrari is a cool car. So I'm trying to kind of get a product out. So if anybody's a reader, you can get them for free on Amazon.
We have 2 renowned authors with us, both David Stig Hansen and Hans Dietrich. That we will go. I will post. I'll get you guys to post your right now. Actually, you should post your book links into the private chat, and I will spam them several times throughout the stream. Oh, we got Hans is there too, right?
See, mine's a little bit unrelated to this topic. What is that? Dropa Legends and Lore? Dropa?
Yeah,
the Dropa Stones. So Hans has done, because he lived in Bhutan.
I grew up in Kathmandu, Nepal for 12 years of my life, and so
I can't wait to hear more about that. And the fact that
he's one of like the foremost
South Asia,
of
Afghanistan, Kashmir, Pakistan.
Do you speak any of the local languages there?
Yeah,
That's Nepalese.
So
amazing.
To tie it all together for your trip back into the Sahara, and then the next year's trip following, 4th trip that we're creating as an open invitation to both the public. There'll be a set price that basically it'll be double the price of the cost of material, of getting everything together to get your own tents to come on the either well, it'll either be 2-week or a month expedition that we do to the Eye of the Sahara in a year and a half from now, and we'll try to get Jimmy Bright Insight. We'll try to get Zertis. We'll try to get Sam Izmanovich. We will try to get Wanderwolf, I'm sure. Invite Randall Carlson. We'll invite to absolutely everybody.
Brian Forrester told me he won't go. He said, "I'm not going."
I might convince
ask
him.
Brian again if you're friends with him. You know him, Hans. Ask him.
I know
He's my Facebook friend. I chat with him occasionally, but
he's particular in what he wants to do for sure.
Right.
And rightfully so and stuff, because there's certain levels of danger, and they have their own perfections and risk in their own fields and where they are, and that we'll start it out for this next year. We got to introduce you to Stellium if you're going to Spain, and
we'll see.
Maybe we'll get.
I am proud to announce that I bought a ticket to Spain today, $304 one way. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to get Zertis on this as well, and maybe
I might change it around, but late January, early February, I'll be in Spain, going into Morocco. I'm going to there so I can be near the Rock of Gibraltar and cross over to Morocco and try to look at the Pillars of Hercules from both sides.
So
And I'm
let's
gonna
segue into your experience in the eye of the storm. So did you come in
So
from Morocco?
let's get up and show it if you want to bring up
What are we
Google
doing?
Earth.
Yeah, sure.
But
Can I ask
bring up,
everybody to subscribe to my channel at this time? What am I
yeah,
doing?
so yeah,
At
before we do
Stig.
that, both of
At
you,
Stig.
Stig, Julia, and Hans, please post both of your YouTube links as well as your book links in the private chat, so then I can start spamming them in the live chat for everyone, and then I'll also copy paste them into this description links for viewers that watch this afterwards. It will also be edited into the description links, because everyone's work here is absolutely next level and amazing, including Julia and what you're doing, and that what I want to create or put forward is a GoFundMe to get myself, and we'll talk to Zerdis and see if maybe we can do Julia, myself, Zerdis, and Brittany to go with Stiggs to Spain in the spring at the very least to see Stellium. And depending if the GoFundMe is good enough, join you all the way. But either way, we will join you and get you. The first goal of the GoFundMe will get you a satellite phone with Starlink from Elon, so that we'll have you in this upcoming March on your third trip back to.
I have
the
a satellite phone, but I need to get a new battery for it. Please subscribe, youtube.com/@Stig. And as you can see, this is a topographical map of the Richat structure. And what you see in the middle there is what I believe is a crater from an impact. I believe that's what destroyed Atlantis. I mean, wouldn't this be more reasonable? I'm going to show you a picture here. Wouldn't that be a little bit more reasonable on the left when it comes to however this thing was created? But instead, what we've got is on the right, we've got missing mountains. I believe that this impact was what disintegrated Atlantis and got rid of all the stuff that we assume should be there. Just to let you know. See, I'm going crazy with my mouse. When you zoom into the Sahara Desert, everything you see has something going on with it. The ancient Taman Reset River came out right there where I was talking about earlier, right below the Western Sahara, right above the Eye of Africa. It followed this line. I'll show you that later, but I mean, they named it Rio de Oro for a reason. When we zoom in here, you see shorelines right away. On the north side,
right.
all that white stuff, those are playa, those are flood playas. And when you zoom in, you see 200 miles of shoreline. So, you don't just get a shoreline. I mean, and it looks like that's an empty lake. And then it disappears under the sands. I believe this whole thing was a sea. And then it connected. The Taman Reset was up here. I call that the eyebrow, okay? Because when you've got the eye, you've got this thing. It looks like an eyebrow. And that's where the ancient Taman Reset was. I show you this picture here, and you can see what I'm talking about. The red, big, thick one, that's the ancient Taman Reset Paleo River. Don't forget, the ancient shore is not what we see nowadays. The ancient shore is actually way out here, and you can see it pretty clear when you look at Google Earth. Whoops, don't look at that. And also, I believe there was a complex of canals that I can even show you that one I showed you earlier. I'll show you again. And I believe this was all water, and down below it probably too. And there's
absolutely
everywhere.
Sorry, just to pause you for a second, Stig, because
Yeah.
we're just getting acquainted, and I know you're not familiar with my own research that I've done into alternative history and this cataclysmic ancient past. But there's also the canal. There's the Starfort Canal builders, and they were more recent. They were after the pyramid builders, and that the mainstream tries to give us all of these different fudged up timelines of what both geology is, but then of what man-made structures are. And when it comes to megaliths, and when it comes to the polygonal and can't think of the word. All
I
of
like
a
to say
sudden.
polygonal. Polygonal.
Geopolymer builders.
Polygonal, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so those were on the either at the minimum Atlantean, but even probably the big pyramid builders, the ones that are mountain sized, like the Bosnian pyramids, like the Tum Tum Mountains, like the Alaskan and Antarctic ones, like the ones that terraformed the geoglyphs as well of the Medicine Hat Badlands or the Yonaguni structure, right? It's
Right.
pre-ice age, and that the fossil record and the biology record tells us that we had mammals such as beavers, such as woolly mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, mastodons, but there was giant beavers, there was giant sloths, there was literally giant everything. Everything was a giant. And then in the fossil records, also the reptiles, the dinosaurs, but then they also find insects or scorpions, arachnids, everything exponentially larger. So it's that if there's also the beavers, the mammal, all of the mammals, well, then humans also, well, genetically, we were also giant just 12,000 years ago. And that when you take that
because we were closer to a magnetic source? Just curious. This is the Saturn mystery right here.
Exactly.
Think about language, man.
So another thing with Graham Hancock, and what I love is what he dimed a species with amnesia, and that we've tricked ourselves into believing like just the complete opposite of reality, and that so many cognitive dissonances, and then lost any touch of what our true history was, and then thus why it's like, 12,000 years ago we were dumb, but we were just hunter-gatherers, and
Right.
then it doesn't make sense in the genetic code and the genomes, though, because they either state things as Neanderthals or as these Devonians, but there's problems when it come up to them, because the Devonians, their tooth size are 3 times the size of a Homo sapien humans, and then also the most, I believe, the genetics of the Neanderthals. Well, it seems it's the same genetics as the elongated skull folks as well. So
right, another species that nobody wants to. Everybody thinks in my circle, they think that was like they did the band to create. I'm like, no. That was there may have been one tribe that did that where they stretched their heads out,
emanating the gods.
Right, yeah. And so no, this was a species that used to exist. It's right there in front of us, and nobody wants to admit it.
You can't elongate your inner capacity by 1.5.
No, you can't add. It's not. You can't turn into
and
Homer
you
Simpson
can't have a
overnight.
child in womb that has the same elongated skull, which they found now.
Right.
There's
Exactly.
3 or 4.
They're they're disrespecting that species so much. There was one video I saw where they had the skulls, the skeletons, including skulls in a cave somewhere. This is kind of a mystery video. I asked Brian Forrester,
Stig,
and I said, "Is that real?"
Continue with what you're saying, but can you also bring up again the Google Earth and start looking at the Eye of the Sahara?
No, I was just saying. Brian Forrester said these skeletons in a cave were real.
Really?
Yeah. Well, there was a video that was totally disrespecting these skeletons, picking them up and handling them, and I just felt it was disrespectful, and I was shocked, and I was bugging Brian.
Sadly, there's a lot of that goes on in Peru. It is, yeah.
Okay, so Rio de Oro, the Western Sahara, actually includes part of the ancient Tamanrasset River. So this was the River of Gold. I don't have it here, but there's a lot of canals right in that southern part of the Western Sahara. All these red lines, in my opinion, are canal-like. So I found a bunch of rock cut-throughs.
Okay, yeah. So to give context of my own research in around Canada, right where I live.
Where is the eye on this map? Sorry,
it's right there. Oh,
everything has canals, and that the pyramid builders, the were also canal builders, and that they were like this master builder. They were essentially giants or titans building this macro scaled stuff, and they not only were most likely giant humans that were intelligent, they probably also had giant technology, and that you have to take that sort of context into when you're looking at the overall macro geology and geography of the world. And
so that's the 33rd degree north parallel. You have Tripoli.
I call that the
Cairo.
ancient the ancient equator, right?
Baghdad. Yeah.
But here the thing is that what I was just trying to point out was actually along this line we have another Richat structure. That line that I put right here, that's on that ancient equator right there. And this thing that I showed you earlier before we started,
yeah,
and
what?
It's right there on that same line.
It's weird. It is a star fort.
I think I have it right here. It's weird. I mean, I don't even really.
Is it convex or is it oblique? That's the question.
Oh yeah. By the way, I saw somebody in the chat earlier say that the Richat structure was a tree trunk. The Richat structure is a bowl shape. It's convex.
Well, so here's the thing, though. I got to give context, and that's along the Stellium 7 research and also the Hangman 12 research, and that we have to, in our own context, realize that that at one point there was this master builder race as well that that were demigods or whatever they were, and there was this time of titanology, so that it's like a lot of things that could be claimed as asteroid impacts or as tree trunks or leftover stuff of biology or biogeology. It's also Titan. It would be Titan biogeology remains. It could be the base of it, but that you have to take that in the context of that was either something like these Nibirian Nephilim, giant demigod things from other stars, planets, whatever the hell thing that seeded us at the beginning or something, and kind of Minecraft this realm or this world that we're on, or had the Titan life after it, and then the giant life after it, and then now there's us essentially of it, and that could be several. Well, you would have had the Titans, the giants, the Atlanteans, all working on it, and then 12,000 years of humans now working on it. Whatever.
This circle right here is the same as our equator. You could just take that circle and move it over right on top of the equator, and you can see the equator right about there. And that's the same size. I don't have that handy, but it's the same size. Now, I know this is not a flat Earth map. It's got the North and the South Pole. It's called on the bottom, equal azimuthal projection. It just shows two poles. But what I think is important is, like you were saying just a moment ago, Hans, you mentioned that this probably an ancient equator. Like you were saying just now when you were mentioning all these Titans, and they were probably the ones that developed this line before there was an axis shift. I mean, you've got Alaska. That's the pole right there. That would have been the North Pole. But, that could have happened 1 million years ago, and then they just kept building off of it.
Bingo.
This is that same line.
I was going to say, zoom back into that quadrant on the left real quick.
This one or the previous, the not flat Earth map? This one?
No, the other one.
Are you looking up the sun alignment?
Yeah, correct.
No, that one was basically a bunch of ancient monuments.
I just wanted to show the audience the striation effect coming in from the Atlantic Ocean way up.
You're talking about these?
Yeah, into the inland, and it's just like, what is?
Yeah, I mean, look at this ancient shoreline right here as well.
Don't you think the ancients would have figured out a way to take salt water and make it like structured water?
That's water moving. That's water moving over this area at a massive rate.
Yeah, and think that this was a lot. Okay, they say that the Sahara has been green 2 times since the Younger Dryas event.
Interesting.
Yeah,
All right.
right. And 100% it has, because there's all of these maps from just 500 years ago that are fully, there's lakes, there's these rivers, and there's cities of where they've now, with modern satellite LiDAR and imaging, shown ancient dried lake beds that they claim to be, a minimum tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years old since they were. Yet, no, there's perfectly cartographed maps, many sources from all over the world, pretty much from the time period of 500 years and back, that seem to show it being lush, well inhabited, and now in those, when you look on Google Earth, and lots of those sites that show ancient castles, cities, fortresses in those sites, you find megalithic ruins and stuff like that. It's just a question of how many, when are these resets, how often they happen, how many times it's happened in the last 12,000
Go
years.
back to the Richat structure
compared to the giants and titans before.
Wow.
So, the first reason I went there was because of Jimmy pointing out the castle. There's the castle right there. I went there first trip just to see what it was, but I was kind of heartbroken because it really is just a more modern.
Pause, zoom in just a little bit more on that. About
Sure.
3 times the size, and look at that. Is that actually like Israeli or Hebrewic language, or what
I got
language?
a picture of me next to it. Where is that picture at? It's just rocks, man.
No, that's
rocks.
just building. Sorry, that's the foundation of the buildings covered by sand. That isn't language in there.
There's a lot of. Where am I? Oh, I see. I'm in the wrong one. I have a picture of me right next to it, that kind of walking past it. Unfortunately, there we go. Yeah, they're just piles of rocks. It's called a fortification. The guys who went there just before I got there, named Atlantis Together, they geologists, and they did a 3D scan of this whole area, and these are just basically it's a military training fortification. I know it looks weird, but it's basically a war game for military personnel. And probably 1880, I can show you where their headquarters was, which is a dilapidated fort now. I should be a little more prepared, but just to trust me, there's 3 of these structures out there. Two of them are pretty clear, and one of them's a little dilapidated. This was the famous one because it's in the center island. There's actually something going on here. You were talking about salt water and fresh water. Plato talked about a well that had both, one salt water, one fresh water, or one hot, one cold. I can't remember. I believe that could have been right here. If indeed.
Can you zoom in on that?
Not too close, unfortunately. It's just actually, this is pretty good. It looks like they got a new scan, because this looks a lot better than before. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, that looks good. I haven't seen anything in Google Earth, and I drove past there, so I didn't stop at this cluster of trees.
Wait, why do you think that's where the freshwater part is?
Well, because if there's any oasis in this whole center island, that's
in the
really
ground.
There's no other place where you see trees. It's all mountain and sand in here, and so if there's any well anywhere, it's got to be right. I think that's got to be it. Where were we? The funny thing about this is, isn't it weird also that you've got a northern entry point right there, and you've got a western entry point right there? That's western, eastern. You've got northern right up here. Why would it be perfect if it's natural? And the other big question is the mouth right here. I told you earlier, this is 1.5 miles wide. I think this is basically, it's an electrical type of situation. I'll give you one quick picture, but
yeah. So, and sorry to have stated that it absolutely probably was a tree trunk earlier. I'm not saying that
was that you?
Was that you? I was just putting that in as No, I didn't make the comment. I was giving context of it. That there are examples of that out there, but that this one also doesn't. it doesn't mean the Richat structure or what you're looking into have to also be only Titan trees or Titan biology.
Right.
It's more likely whatever you've actually put the time and research into. You've been out there twice. What your guess is like a lot better than anyone else's, because
staring at
you've
it for
been
5
researching
years
there.
too.
So even where you are in Canada, my friend, and where I am out in the Pacific Northwest, we have structure like this that has been, it's water damage. No, it's electrical damage. Yeah.
I don't want to bet my life of anything. I just want to report what I see.
Well, the
Graham
plasma
Hancock
stuff,
says I'm a journalist.
well,
Julia,
'cause
what?
here's another aspect, though. These changes of the
Well, if there was a
sun
big flood
is-
everywhere and you have a plasma event, it would kind of like electrocute, charge the water, and kind of look like
the
it's been.
electric universe theory of like the Thunderbolts project. There's Vilskovsky.
Yeah, those guys are so boring. I really don't want to be a
But
big fan.
They all, but the thing is like they're all trying to give or they're finding evidence of it coming from like out in the galaxy or the solar system, whatever the heck. But it's electroplasma events of some sort at some time that I get out of it that could have caused it originally, right? And that in these different ages of the sun or whatever these shifts are, who knows? It's fascinating what could actually be the reality of the real history from what modern science tries to tell us. But yeah, sorry to interrupt. Give us
Well,
what you...
I think that one thing
is-
that kind of supports two things is this big a Gerard Plateau. Everything you see that's red is about 2,000 feet above sea level. The Richat, that's actually down at 13. The yellow, the green, 1276. So it's concave. It's a bowl. It's carved out of there. And what actually could have removed all that content? If you had an electrical event, maybe it kind of turned it, how it turned it into magma, maybe. But if it's in a so-called dome incline, like they say, and they say, well, that's not related to volcano, that's tectonic. That's, what are you talking about? The tectonic is movement of plates. Yeah, so the red part is a very thick layer. I guess it's sandstone, but it's like slate. When you drive up the mountain to get up to the top, you see all that. It's like a billion pyramids. That's definitely going to be some type of a conductor or attractant to an electrical event. It's in the middle of all that sand and there's nothing else. I don't know. Maybe it's even the squatting man event.
This is ancient demigod technology, and it's like built on a galactic scale, essentially. Like what if anybody's ever looked into Cydonia of Mars and like all the matching ancient mountain pyramids out there, and then with Samir Osmanovich's unbelievably like great research over the last 20 years, and to the point where they've been able to measure, track, image, and show that the pyramid of the sun literally has an energy beam coming out of it that follows and tracks along with the sun each day. That's, and then that when they found Chichen Itza, when they found Teotihuacan, they were covered in like both what's that crystal? It was
Mica.
Mica, which is
like a vitrification
insulator.
And where they were mining it was 1,000 miles to the south. Yeah,
right. So it's like they had these layers of them, and then they're told that they were also covered on top of that with like gold and silver, like layers of metal, like literal layers of
so
gold
just
and silver metal
a weird
on top of that.
Quick point of reference. We're showing all this here. So
exactly.
Cairo, Egypt is known from Al Qaira, which means Mars. So Cairo is Mars. And so on Mars, we have Cydonia, and Cydonia is the area around Cairo that makes up Giza and goes all the way out into the eastern desert and partially into the western desert.
Yeah, so I've been looking at this
Cydonia on Mars. So anyway, just connected.
Just look at how clear the 1976 image is compared to what they show us now.
Right?
Yeah, it's black and white. But yeah, this was supposed to be the Pentagon. Actually, I'm wrong. That I made a mistake. But anyways, the Pentagon is right there in that little picture, and then this little thing, you can't even see what the hell's going on. But I don't know if you remember, like I do, because we were waiting and waiting for the new scans of this face on Mars, and I think it was 1992 we finally got to see it.
Yeah, they showed us the cat box, and it was like
they
4
showed us
images.
How old are you, Hans? You remember?
Oh, I'm well aware of this stuff. It's like
I'm old,
my
friend.
Okay, so you had to wait like 12 years between like the first time when it gave you this clear image of the impossible face, and then like the supposed next one 12 years later for the.
It was a cat box, like he just said.
But it's like
They were laughing at us.
I'm not buying it.
show it.
I'm not buying
Right.
it.
Here's the thing: the technology was exponentially better by a decade, yet the image quality they gave and delivered was exponentially degraded by 2 to 3 like levels of technology.
It was like they were blatantly lying to us, and you know how it is when
Devon
you hear all the
Island. Devon Island.
Which one island?
They did it
Which one?
intentionally. Yeah.
Devon Island. Like that's where it's like they go and practice. Like NASA's like, oh, we just send our rovers there at Devon Island, but people have found
up in the
what they tell us is Mars. What they tell us is Mars is actually Devon Island, Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then they admit that they admit that they go there and they train there, but they won't admit that that's what they're.
They distract you with some things that are true, some things that are not true.
Yeah. So Devon Island is the largest uninhabited island in the world, and it's in the largest northernmost island of Canada, and it is also where NASA officially does its like rover
and if you look at
testing,
side-by-side
like
pictures of
testing. But
where is it? Where's Devon Island?
Up.
It's way up in the way up in the Nordic.
The giant one at the most north of Canada, and that it also I've done an episode. With shout out to Shem Jacobs, who was on here earlier, but we took too long to get going. He had to leave. But with him and Elkman, where the Elkman showed an ancient map of an area of Devon Island called Pyramid Bay, and then live on this episode, I looked up some images, and boom, there's several mountain pyramids on Devon Island. And that the whole bay areas and canals, there's giant terraformed canals and pyramids all throughout this area of Devon Island, literally Canada's most
remember a pyramid.
But there's some people that have done some pretty big research.
Coming to a pinnacle, all the pyramids in South America don't come to pinnacles. Even the ones in Peru.
There's some great research that will show things that are on Devon Island and then show previous photos that they claim were Mars photos.
What the hell is this? What's going on there? Is that a cave?
Right? Like, there's just so much ridiculous.
Well, I want to see. I want to hurry through these. There's 20 of them. I can't help myself. I just can't stop.
I'll pull up a couple
of delicious content.
All right. So, where's these pyramids?
I'll find them. I've got images saved. You continue.
Like I said, they don't necessarily need to come to a pinnacle.
We're getting distracted from the Richat.
It can be partial structure. Yeah.
And also, I can't wait for you to show me the stuff that you're talking about in Colorado. In fact, why don't we just go there right now? Because look, the Richat structure has led me to so much more that I can't unsee or unexperience. If I start, everybody write down @0 control. He's a guy I know, his channel @0 control. He's the one said, go look at Lesotho. So I went down there and looked at it. I don't want to get too deep into it, but did I show you all the, let me just go to the one map I have. It's right here. Show on map. So if you look, all those little yellow lines, one of them is even 100 miles long. These are the volcanic dikes that I've traced. Let me just show you the one I know I showed you last time, but it's really one of my favorites right here. And you see all these different angles. I got to get rid of this to show you. But look at all those different angles in the ground. And this is I believe it has to do with ancient mining. They were megalithically terraforming the earth. I mean, you don't have triangles like that. Okay. And it got
Oh
me really
wow!
passionate. You got me really
Oh
passionate.
wow!
Some of these go
Where
on
is
for
this?
40 kilometers. It's near South Africa in Lesotho.
Oh
And
god, yeah. We
this
got to
is
get
goes
Michael
on, like
down
I said, let me
there.
put the lines back on so you can see how extensive this is. This is the great escarpment right here. I think it
Wow.
implies that something got washed away because the lines just seem to stop. And then why is Lesotho so visible? I think, and those channels I showed you before we started the show are all right here. They're all leading up into the mountain. This is if you look at the terraforming, the topographical map of this area. Plato mentioned a big old massive canal system in Atlantis. Okay, I'm not down there yet. Here we are.
There's canal systems everywhere, though.
Well, what about the Kalahari canal systems? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Just kind of weird that Lesotho sticks out on top of this great escarpment. Did they pile debris on top of that? I'm talking about something big, massive. Like I said, there's a lot of lines going into that area. All those yellow lines right there. The Kalahari canals, we talked about it last time. It's right up here. You can see them. You can see these straight lines. It's 250,000 square miles of these straight lines. They're all about a mile wide. And it's like an ancient system that maybe that's what Plato was writing about. I mean,
I don't
what can I
doubt
say?
it at all. We should actually. I'll let you continue going. You got
I'll
at least
I'll
an
show you.
hour
Look at
worth
this
of
up here.
stuff you got
See
to
how we
cover,
see
and
these
then
straight lines? That must have been okay. Look, I'm not a geologist, but I don't think any geologist can say what caused this big, massive complex of straight lines in the middle of Africa. And their
right had
canals.
to be master builder, demigod. Technology.
I agree. Poseidon level shit, like
Exactly.
Father
The
Nature, but with intelligent design.
Yeah.
I have a better picture of that.
What
But like
about
I
like a
said,
terraforming type thing, like a agriculture?
Well,
here's an
yeah,
example of
exactly
where
that too.
some flood took it out right there. That escarpment
Probably
was from the
combination
flood.
of both. And yeah, exactly. That there was this massive tectonic. There's the crustal displacement theory, and even Einstein, before he died, said like his last writings into it was that he ruled in the favor of it being a crustal displacement and cataclysmic tidal wave ocean wipeout over this gradualism of what they currently call the tectonic
Gradualism
plate.
is uniformitarianism, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's gradualism, and literally before World War One, every single institute in the world, at higher academic institute in the world, taught catastrophism and taught that Atlantis was like the official history. And when you read these older writings, everybody's, they compare to the grandeur, lost ancient god and demigod building and technology and all of this, the ruins that they walk amongst and that they're belittled by, right? Like that we're just nothing in comparison to it, as opposed to today's enforced YOLO Western, we're the best that's ever been mindset. That's the exact opposite of what the evidence seems to present.
Look, I'll show a couple more things around here, and then we can get over to Colorado, because I think what you said, this terraforming project here is in the lips of who I call the Englishman. Down below him, if you go straight down below this face, I showed you these straight lines in these mountains down here. I mean, you just get these weird. I don't think these are even really volcanic dikes anymore, because some of them look like they're just poopy mountains. But where was it? I got a little lost. But I'm telling you, they were building mountains with this overburden dumping. And I can take you back to Mali and show you what I showed you. It's called Telebit. Before we do, we'll go back into his lips. I'm telling you, they were terraforming this whole area. This is just one project, and it's not just that line. You see this here, but you also see. Let me just zoom in out so you know where we're talking about. Looks like a face. That's the nose. That's the chin. These are the lips. It's called Tibesti Mountains, and this type of project, it's got several different time events, but you can see that they did something to the ground. I mean, it's like they melted it or something. So when you look at the Canyonlands in Utah or the Colorado River and you say that was natural, well, somebody had the power to really terraform this planet. And I don't know what happened here, but it goes all up into the mountains. You start to notice that even up in this mountain here, you start to see the lines are these 90-degree cuts, 45-degree angles, 90 degrees. It's like somebody was working this whole thing. And there's several projects. Over here, you see more of these, I think you could call these volcanic dikes. That's what a geologist would call them, these lines. But which came first, that or the terraformed stuff underneath it that you can see like right here? Like which was first? I kind of feel like maybe these lines came second. Like somebody said, we need to control this water. So they're like, they don't want to make a proper dam. So they just put debris in a nice straight line. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to show you one more thing and then I'll shut my mouth for a bit. But let's go back out. You can see this is Chad. I'm sorry, that's Niger. Sorry, Niger. And I think all those are fake. But over here, the area in Mali has this thing called telebit. I think this is the smoking gun. I think this is smoking gun because you literally see 100 lines side by side here. And you get the occasional one going across the top like that. You get the cross hatching. Look at this one. If you get in there, they're 60 feet wide. And you can see pictures of this by clicking on the layers and going to photos. Unfortunately, there's none right here, but down south a little bit, we start to see some photos. And you can see what these mountains look like. They're just basically piles of rocks. And it looks like, I bet you if you dug underneath there, you'd find sand again. Like literally, this is so massive and so large. I know I sound crazy even talking about it. I told you I wrote these 2 books, but I'm going to write another book called The Mountain Builders. I'm going to put all this in the same book, The Mountain Builders. And there's different projects, different layers. This one right here is like they just dumped rocks. But in Colorado, they were creating volcanic dikes. Somehow they've got technology that created these big walls. I can get into that later. So Mali, yeah, you get in and take a look at the photographs of these areas, and you just see piles of rocks. These so-called straight line mountains. It'll go back in one more time. There's a circular dike here. Telebit is here. I like the one. That's the one I just showed you. These straight lines. I mean, they were building mountains out of their debris, out of the overburden dumping. Remember, Mansa Musa inherited the gold. Who did all the mining? Look at this part right here. It looks like total cross hatching. Like you can see the things going left and right, but you can also see them going up and down. It's just, to me, it's the big smoking gun that proves that could be 1 million years old. I don't know. It doesn't look 1 million years old because we know the Sahara was green twice in the last 15,000 years. So I don't know. I mean, I just know that somebody was working this planet. Oh, yeah, it gets crazier and crazier up here in the Algeria, Libya. But I promised I'd shut up for a second. So
no, keep going.
Okay, I'm going to zoom into Planetary Valley, Libya. I've shown this a lot. So a lot of people may have seen me show Planetary Valley. When you zoom in here, have you ever been in a machine shop where they're welding metal and you get those spherals all over the floor? I think that's what we're looking at here. I'm going to turn it this way because I feel like we're in
those are actually EVOs, exotic vacuum objects.
Have you ever looked into like mineral rights, like of like what's rich over there, the uranium deposit? Like, do you ever look into what the resources are in that area?
Gold, iron, in Mauritania, iron. I think that there's all sorts of metals. These are called concretions. But the ones in Peru this is a lake. I don't know where the hell that lake is. I didn't see any lake. And it's missing the good one. Where the hell is that good one at? Hold on, I got it right here. It's right here. This one was in somebody's. Somebody had posted a photo in there. I mean, that's almost like a perfect sphere in my position, my opinion.
That's
Sorry.
there.
It's supposed to be. I could be wrong. It could be. I don't have evidence. I didn't see it personally.
Okay.
But yeah, these things are. This is called Planetary Valley, and I think that, like, people say that it's this and it's that, but I think that when you look at the fact that these to me look like overburden dumping, maybe they are like some type of a welding thing. I don't really want to talk about how it happened because I can't prove it. But what I can say is, if this is an overburden dump, the ones down in a modern day mine are about 22 feet wide from a dump truck. This is 200 foot wide, and that's just one of them. And there's some that are twice as big. So, and by the way, if you say, well, where did all that come from? Well, I think it came from right next door in Algeria. This is, and I know I already showed you this last time we talked, Bernie, but this one right here, let me get north. I don't know where I'm at. This whole area.
This is you would actually show this again. It's so epic.
This is the Tassil Najer National Park. It's right along that same ancient line that we were talking about earlier. And when you zoom in here, you can clearly see, I like this spot, and I showed it to you before, but there's lots of other places. You can clearly see the quarrying that went on in here. My favorite one to look at is this rectangle here. I'm going to tweak it just a little bit so it's not north-south, but I mean, maybe that's not really the ancient axis that I always see. But if you measure this to here and this to here, it's the exact same number. So who is doing all this ancient work? This is a quarry. I mean, I used to think that was natural, like in Utah. But honestly, when you take a look at it, you can see the...
it's in Utah, but Utah ain't natural either. That's the thing.
Well, I believe Utah is the same thing. It's along the Colorado River. I'm talking about the Canyonlands, and you see something a little similar called the Needles, but it looks like it was a big mining project. And then, of course, millions of years of erosion after. Look at that line right there. Tell me that was natural. Tell me that's natural. This is a quarry, but they're not telling us it's a quarry.
It's impossible.
And it's giant. It's 200.
It's like they're collecting something. It's like to collect.
Well, it looks like a circuit board. I mean, I've got another spot I like.
Well, the fact that they're using the same longitude around the globe is also interesting because, wow, it's like what specific mineral is only found there, right?
Right. I think it's right here. The one that I like is over here. And what they do is they do this quarrying. Look at these lines here. They do this
I'm sure there's different tactics, too, to collect it.
Yeah, it's definitely different tactics. I'm going to show you some of that idea later on by the Colorado River. These, I believe they were using these waterways as placer mining, but it looks like a computer circuit board at this point.
Yeah, it does, that last spot.
Like Michael Tellinger was talking about, like maybe they had some way of...
Or like Atlantis as much as it is like simulation evidence.
So I think they made that mound right there could be modern day. I think they're burial grounds. That's big though. That's like really big. Sometimes you see, that's not so big. So I believe that's a modern day burial mound right there. But I think that you sometimes see a bigger thing poured right on top of this core. Like they were just getting rid of this slurry, this overburden tailings. Look at this. Look at all those lines. And you're like, oh, that's natural. That's perfectly natural. You don't know anything about geology if you think that's done by... That's what I always hear. You don't know anything about geology.
Giant honeybees.
Perfectly natural. Say again?
Said giant honeybees.
Yeah, exactly. And this is their hive. And look at this, like you said, different stuff, different types of stuff's going on.
I'm not so sold on them it being for gold too, because from what I understand, like from when this occurred, like that long ago, it was gold was like abundant, from my understanding.
Well, and maybe okay, so the Anunnaki ancient alien theory or whatever you want to call it.
Right, the Zachariasian that they came and that we were made to basically be their bitches and get the gold, right?
Taken out.
I don't buy that either.
That's why there isn't it.
I don't want to believe my DNA was
knows?
altered by some race, but I'm seeing this and I'm saying, well, who the hell did it? And by the way, there's like 1 million pyramids worth of stone in here. And by the way, you also see these angles, like right here. I was just focused in and I backed out, but you see these angles right here. And it's like, is that angle the same as this angle right here? Why is that these geometric shapes showing up? I want to just kind of zoom over to some other place I know and back it up with, I believe there's a lot of this quarrying going on. I showed you the one by the Richat structure, which is right here. But up here, I couldn't find it last time I was live. It was embarrassing. Wait a minute. Now I'm lost again. Hold on. Oh, that's over here. Sorry. This is in Algeria again. And what you start to see are these weird, this is called erg check. I don't know what erg means, but you see that looks like these angles, these walls. These are walls. This junction right here, that's not natural. And when you look inside there, you start to see these things that have, okay, I lost again. I always get lost here. I think it's right here though. Let's go over here. I think it's right here. You start to see these geometric cuts in the plateaus. I can't find it. Not prepared. I swear it's right here though. I'm going to find it for you later. I'll show you again. But you get these geometric cuts. And I know I'm sounding crazy. But who made these walls? And what, I mean, these walls are like, how does that happen in nature? It's got, I hate to say it looks like a nipple right there. There's an arc. Then you go over, you have this other structure, and then another arc, and then another arc up here, arc after arc after arc. Are these, okay, now sorry, I'm not showing you some important stuff. This one right here, I think this is one of the more beautiful ones. I believe this is what I'm talking about, this geometric quarrying. Now, they say in Canyonlands, oh, it's perfectly natural to have parallel lines form on a plateau and then suddenly decay into the needles. Well, this has more than just two sets of parallel lines. This is, you see this one right here, one, and then you can see this other one kind of going across it, and then you see one going up and down. There's 3 different directions here. I like this one up here. You can totally see, like, I was even thinking maybe this is modern day. Like, I would be willing to, if somebody said, oh, that was when Algeria went and they did something back in last century, I'd say, okay, I'll accept that. But this is vast.
There's like this, there's like that all over the world, even in throughout the U.S. in like Arizona, New Mexico,
Colorado,
Utah, and Nevada, and stuff like that.
Let's go, man. Let's go, because I have some stuff I want to show you, and I want to see what you are going to show me. So when you zoom into Arizona here, you can see the Grand Canyon right about there. And the one that I'm always checking out is here. This is, I always get lost because there's some similar shapes. But I really think that this is a good example. Like this mound here, it's just a little bit too convenient. It's like got the little saddle between it. I just feel, and then over here on the sides of it, you've got all the geometric, you've got the geometric stuff going on. I do have this marked. Let me see if I can find it in
these plateaus
right here. Yes, but here's the one thing about that. So I just demarcated a bunch of quarries, but they're not the highest point. So as we zoom in again, take a look. Down here where I've got all this stuff marked, that's 4,800 feet, but there's a higher level up here. So they're not up there doing the quarrying at the top. They're down here doing the quarrying. Wow. Let's go take a look at one of them. This one was kind of weird. I found these recently here. All these cuts. And I know that a lot of it does look natural, but it's just a little too convenient when I see some that are not as natural. Like here. It feels like this whole area was being worked, and they must have had like a big, huge skill saw, and they were chopping up this I don't know. I know I sound crazy, but honestly, these straight lines, some of them are very geometric. I'm looking for the good one. Hold on. Let me back out and find the good. And then this thing, that thing to me is like some kind of a dump right on top of everything. When you see that different color over here, It doesn't look like a mountain anymore. You've got this this stuff going on over here. The good ones, I'll never find them live, right? I got some really good ones. Like this one is pretty good. And you can see it's more than just parallel lines. It gets to the point where you see 3 different lines. This one is just 2 different directions. But when you start to see triangles, then you know you've got a 3rd direction going on. Is that anything that you've been looking at, Bernie? What happened to Bernie?
That is actually new to me. Keep going a little bit. I'm getting together before we get into my stuff. Why don't we take Hans? Do you want to give?
Can I give it?
Stig,
can I hand over the screen? Can you open up your screen, Hans? Because I need to take a break.
For what? Sorry.
For showing us what you. I was hoping you could show us some stuff on the map in Nepal.
Look at some Nepal stuff on it.
Oh my God! I don't have my Google.
Well, we can go to. I can go to Nepal.
Yeah, you're the best at operating the Google or Stig. But
all right, I'm going to share my background again. Where's the share?
Hans will be the captain, and
well, how about we zoom into Nepal again and you show us? So yeah, I think that all those red lines. I know that a lot of the stuff I just showed you wasn't so impressive, but if you go up the Colorado River all the way up to Utah,
are you? We're not seeing if you're trying to share something.
Oh, are you presenting? Oh, I didn't present. Sorry.
Yes,
I apologize. All right. Anyways, I think I presented, right? There it is.
Yeah, now we're good.
Tell us about Nepal.
So it's the size of California, basically. There's 42 different tribal groups with their own languages. And you have everything from the plains of India, which are, a couple 100 to 1,000 feet, to the world's tallest mountain sandwiched right there in the smallest of fingers of South Asia.
You were born there?
No, I lived there from the age of 4 until I graduated from high school.
So where's the city? Because I was looking for, is that Butwai?
Kathmandu, no.
Kathmandu. Okay, there it is.
Right there, yep, bingo. So Kathmandu is at like 4,500 feet. It's massive now. There's 600 million people that live there, something like this.
Wow, 600 million. That sounds like a lot. That's the almost
6 million. Sorry, something like that.
Is this your high school?
No, that's actually downtown. That's the sports arena. If you zoom in south of that, hold on, go down. Yep, zoom in. No, left, up, left, right there where that green area is. No, back down. No, that green area.
Is that water?
So no, that's.
It looks like a boat right there.
Go back out.
It could be. A lot of them do have these ancient
Look for Robbie Bowen, Rabibawan. Yeah.
That right there?
That actually could be it. No.
I just see the track is all. But I click the street views because I'm ready to start street viewing.
No, back out. Sorry.
Let me just put it right here. Robbie, ROBB.
RABI or Robbie.
Oh, RABI.
Bowen, BAWAN. Yeah, there it is.
Well, that says Kathmandu. Oh,
yep,
Housing
correct.
Society?
Yep.
Is that where you grew up? Did you live in a housing? Is that it? Ravi Bhavan.
So the international school is right there. Wow.
That's the
right there.
Olympic-sized swimming pool?
Yep, that's it. Wow.
You went there?
Yeah.
All right.
We didn't have the swimming pool then, but.
See if we can find any sites. Where's the front door? Right here?
No, it's like up.
There it is. There it is. That's it.
No, that's the back alleyway. Oh my God.
How many times did you smoke cigarettes there?
You were just in the back alleyway by the temple. Yeah, interesting.
Okay, let me point it north. No,
The front entrance is right there. Shit. Anyway, it's the second building. It's in between the first and the second building from the swimming pool.
Oh, right there, right here.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, so that's the right there. Okay, so this is. It doesn't show the front door.
No, of course it wouldn't.
So you
Oh my
walk down.
God. Go up the street. Yeah, that's the alleyway that goes behind it. So
Unfortunately, it's not letting me go up that way. I can't go that way. I can go down this way.
Wow.
Well, maybe not. Let's try it.
So that alleyway is, yeah.
So you know this.
Used to bike down that street, shortcut to the main road.
That's the. Is that Korean? Is that the Korean school right there? Or is that?
There are other. This is all new. I haven't been here in years, so I have no idea what's there.
All right. Let me get out of here.
That's funny. Wow. All right. Yeah, but that's all Lincoln School there. Yep.
Wow, Nepal, Kathmandu. Like there's two cities that
that's where I
want to go to.
Oh my God,
Timbuktu. I want to go to Timbuktu and Mali, and then Kathmandu is the other one that.
So it's at like 4,700 feet is the valley, but then you're surrounded by an upper level of hills and then mountains above it. And if you watch Doctor Strange, you'll kind of see that, but most of it's CGI, so don't count on what you're looking at, but it's interesting to see.
There's Kathmandu. So kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of layers here. Yeah, so can you read? Is that Sanskrit? Can you read it?
It's not Sanskrit. That's all Nepalese, yeah. Or Hindi, one or the other. Urdu, Hindi, similar spoken, different visual. Yeah.
Oh, there. See, sometimes when you grab it after you choose a layer in this topography, you grab it and then it reveals all the stuff.
Province. Oh goodness, that's hilarious. Wow. The Bagmati
look at that. Look at that number right there. Anything that's white is like 28,000 feet.
Oh, it's You're literally the width of California. You have every trophic level you could imagine going to the highest mountain.
All the way down. Yeah, look at that. In
Nepal.
So,
and 42 different cultural groups. So Pokhara is a lake that was formed very quickly. The mountains collapsed and broke apart and formed this lake called Feywatal. There's cave systems all over it. Pokhara, where you are. Yeah.
There it is. At least I saw that word you just said. Yeah. Feywatal. Right there.
Feywatal. And then it like drains out into Devi's cave. Devi was a tourist who drowned. She got swept into the cave system.
What?
Where's so there's caves that go under the lake, and they don't open the system very often, but they will. And my friends and I on spring break went down there and paid a bunch of guides to take us all the way up underneath. So you're looking up at the waterfall that comes down from Feywatal, Davies Falls, they call it.
I can't find it right now. Where's that lake at? There's Kathmandu. So there's a river.
Yep, keep going to the keep going west or west. Yeah, keep going west. You'll find it.
I don't know. I think I got lost.
Go up. No, you got it.
I had it.
Yeah, go up. It's right in that area. Yeah.
It's right up here. Oh, there. That.
No. Shit.
Well, there's a lot of them here. Let me look at
this. It's called Pokhara. Look for Pokhara. Yeah, there it is. You're right. You're right there. Yeah, Pokhara.
Oh, okay. So there's Pokhara. There's Kathmandu. All right, let's try.
So that's by crow flies like 200 kilometers, 300 kilometers. It's the distance from Portland to Seattle, but it's a 9-hour drive.
Well, yeah, and I once, so California, the size of California, it's got to be even longer to go across. I mean, I don't see any roads. Like, you must have like the smallest roads, and
they're one lane, and you're passing these Tata semi trucks that often fall over, or it's kind of crazy, man. It's one of the most, as you can see, insane terrains you'll ever see in your life. Because the Indian plateau is pushing up into the Himalayas like daily.
I was
In
going to look at that
2015, there
lake.
were two earthquakes back to back. So yeah. Oh, weird. You're backward.
Am I
Flip it the other
backwards?
way
Oh, I'm
around.
backwards. I'm backwards. No wonder.
Yeah.
No wonder I couldn't find it.
There
That's
we
why I
go.
couldn't find it. Now the lake is going to be okay.
Much better. Yeah.
So that line, the lake is like right here. There it is. See? And now I found it.
Bingo.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Don't.
So toward the bottom of the lake, if you go down
here,
is Devi's Falls. Yeah, there's Feywa Dam. Keep going down. Yeah.
The river?
It ends up at Devi's Falls eventually.
Looks like it's a power. Do they create power there? Is that a power?
Yeah, they do now. Yeah, correct. That's why they opened the dam. But there's a cave system that's all underneath that. I mean, that's a deep, deep crevasse right there. So the legend is, obviously, the mountain collapsed into a body of water and created this deep water lake. And there's caves underneath the whole thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing when you get in there.
My dad used to live in Pokhara. This is
so you probably stood right there.
Homesick all of a sudden. Sorry.
Look, they even have their sign, Pokhara. There you go. Boom. Yeah. It's just like Hollywood.
So that's where you get on the raft to go across to the Fishtail Lodge is right there. So you're on a pole raft that they take you across. That's the Fishtail Lodge right there. Oh, this is...
You remember this?
You're killing me here, dude.
Well, you just got to get back out there. Maybe you can do some tours.
I miss Nepal a lot. It's changed so much.
What is that?
A lot of what
airports?
you see here on Lakeside did not exist when I lived there.
Why do they have
another? They have another airport. What?
Yeah, what's up with that? They got.
They were gonna put an international airport, but that's not a long.
That's got to be it right there. Then
that must be. Wow.
The one in Pokhara. What is it?
So the Dusit Thani Fulbari Hotel is near there, and I did a bunch of graphic design work for their opening. No, near that other airport.
Oh, okay.
It's called the Fulbari, Fulbari. It's probably that piece of land to the right, to the other direction. Yeah. That there. Weird. All right, maybe not.
No straight roads in this town.
Oh, God, no. There's no straight roads in Nepal, period. But the most amazing view is...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Is that... What's that mountain up there?
So that's the whole Annapurna range. So you have the Fishtail, which is Machu Picchu, Annapurna 7, 6. And then the rest of the Annapurna range. Most of the Annapurna range has never been climbed. Not for a lack of trying. They're just sacred. They're sacred mountains, and the villagers and your porters will push you off the trail and kill you.
Why? What? Oh,
because the mountains are sacred. They don't want people climbing them. So most of Annapurna has never been climbed.
Interesting. Yeah, no, and I've never really Google Earthed over here. There's a lot of places I don't touch, and this is one of them. And can you imagine being up in the mountains, just walking
This
around?
land changes so quickly and rapidly. The question is, how old is it? Oh, it's millions of years old, but I don't think it is. I think it happened very quickly, like the Dolomites in Italy and Patagonia. There are all these like quick formation isostases. Hancock talks about this. Randall talks about this. If you're going to remove a ton, 2 miles of ice, hundreds of thousands of miles of 2 mile ice in a week or less, you're going to have a ripple effect on the rest of the planet. And so a lot of this is thought to be isostases situations. Where's this?
What do you think they're growing there?
Where is this?
It's in the mountains. Maybe it's in a different country already. It's upside down again. I don't know. I just thought that was a very cool because I can't. You know what I think I'm seeing there is
It's all rice paddies mostly, millet.
that
rice.
looks like there's no water. Rice paddies is in a water pool, right?
Yeah, you have water going through there. That's a river going through there.
It looks like Alice in Wonderland.
If you zoom in on that, that's actually a river going through there. It's pretty big.
Yeah, you can see. Is that the water?
No, up near the village to the right.
Right in here?
Yeah, that area. Yep. Right in there.
Well, it must be. That's very interesting. It feels like when I see this, I just don't know what I'm looking at. It's all upside down and gigantic.
Yeah, these are all rice paddies and probably
orchards.
trees. A lot of trees. So
It
they
looks like a
grow
freaking
pear, apples, Marfa apples all come out of Washington State. My dad and the Peace Corps helped bring the Marfa apple seeds to this area, and they grow pear and what's the other one? Apricot. Yeah. And so they'll make brandy out of this or preserves because they don't have electricity, so they're growing this. So they make it into alcohol. It's like apple schnapps or pear schnapps.
They don't have any electricity in the houses out there?
A lot of it's solar now, but it didn't used to be. Yeah.
Right.
Or micro hydro. That's what I'm saying. There's definitely water going through that valley. And so they will harness that water to create electricity. There's a lot of micro hydro going on in Nepal. But again, you're just like in the middle of nowhere. It's 6-day walk to the nearest road that you might find a truck that will take you back to civilization 3-4 days later. So,
right.
Yeah, you're in the middle of nowhere.
You don't want to get caught out there. You don't want to get stranded. But at the same time, it's not. I mean, how cold is it, or what's it like right now?
You're at 9,000 feet here, probably 10,000. Yeah.
So it's pretty cold.
It gets cold, yeah.
I mean,
but you're also at the longitude of Los Angeles, so.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, but Los Angeles
at least Kathmandu is, yeah. So that's what, the 36 parallel, yeah. You're still on that line of your line. If you continue your line, it will end up in Kathmandu, guaranteed. Your red line on your map.
Oh, is it? Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah, look at that. It's going right over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you continue that line,
wow,
you're going to end up in Kathmandu. Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
What else is on that line? And so then it kind of goes up this. I don't even know what's on in that picture that I showed. There's so many that I'm not familiar with. Hold on, let me find that.
You're going to go through Bhutan. You're going to go through, yeah.
Right there.
Burma, Cambodia, parts of Thailand. Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
You see it right there. Yeah.
And then what have we got? And this is, by the way, where's Taiwan? It doesn't really show Taiwan. Oh, Taiwan's right there.
Yeah.
What is this that it's going through? Oh, I see. It's going all the way down.
That's all Indonesia.
Yeah. And then that's Easter Island right there. What is that one?
That's like Tonga or, yeah, it's not New Zealand, but it could be actually.
Okay, so we got it. Where's Easter Island? There. So it's right before Easter Island. Machu Picchu, Nazca, Easter Island.
After.
This island right here. How do you pronounce that? Anatium? You just said that, right?
Anatium, yeah.
You just said that right there, right?
That's part of like the New Zealand strain out. Yeah. It's before you get to New Zealand.
There's a bunch on here I don't even know, like every single one. Prairie
That's all the Ring of Fire in a weird sense, right? Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I always consider this the Ring of Fire.
'Cause New Zealand is just south of the one that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's a little bit skewed. I'm not a big fan of that map, and people used to pick on me and say it was a flat earther map.
No, go down to the right.
Oh yeah,
Papua New Guinea. Yeah, keep going down. It's Fiji. Wow, interesting.
Fiji, the water, right?
Interesting. Or go down.
This way.
Yeah, no, it's Fiji. That's
Check
where
out
that-
Nan Madol and the Howitzer
or
giant
whatever that is. Yeah,
What's this one?
New
Not this one,
Caledonia.
Tuvalu.
It could be New Caledonia,
so
but I
many
think
out
it's
there.
Fiji. I
Like the
think it's
corners
Fiji.
of what on the ancient map stated were Lemuria. There's these Macronesian, Polynesian islands.
It's New
and
Caledonia, actually. Yeah,
They're insane. What they actually
could be
are.
Fiji, but I think it's New Caledonia.
Christmas
And then-
Island, aka Easter Island.
I
I
always get
wonder,
lost.
is it called Easter Island /
Right,
Christmas
right there.
Island?
That's
because
Easter
it's
Island right there.
Not that.
What does that say?
Mangaroa.
Oh, it's not Naparua. Yeah, okay.
Look at all. Well, that looks like Easter Island. Yeah, it
That's
is.
what
You're
I'm
right.
saying.
It is Easter
That
Island.
is Easter Island, yeah. Look at it.
Yeah, and I
Giant
always get
triangle.
fixated-
And
I always got
I
fixated over
bet
here.
you the alignments have to do a big thing with why they call it Easter Island or Christmas Island. That's right around the solstice and the equinox. That they want you to be there to see what happens on the pyramids. And there's supposed a pyramid carved into one of the quote unquote volcanoes of Easter Island. Like there's pyramids on Easter Island.
Right. There's this one little thing here. I always, I guess it's right there. Let me see if I can get the blue dot. Like right here. And you see these tunnels. Maybe it's that one right there. It's like, where do those tunnels go? It looks like it's an underground. Okay, so that one's not full of water. But they could have been full of water a long time ago.
Though.
And there's
I
another
feel
one
ya.
that
We have these in
Right
the
here.
Columbia Gorge in the waterfalls.
Right here.
There's caves that go way, way, way up.
I'm kind of curious about this one right
a
here.
couple blazies up there, but you know.
I mean, what the heck's that? That
Oh,
looks
wow.
like it's a,
Look at that. That is 100% artificial master built. Look at that. That is wow. That is an aquifer entrance.
Where is this? Sorry.
No,
this is Easter Island.
No
I
doubt
happen
about
to
it.
know it, so I decided to show it.
What?
Let me just back up.
Wow.
Did you
Let
go
me
to
get rid of
Easter
that.
Island, David?
Mind blown.
Yeah, this is Easter Island.
No, but did you go there? Have you been
No,
there?
no. You know who has gone there is Wandering Wolf Productions. He's got a lot of megalithic stones in North America.
Exactly,
Sage
Michael.
Wall. Michael
Yeah.
Collins, right? I'm trying to turn this
Yes,
off. Hold
sir.
on. I'm doing the wrong thing. Yeah, I met him. He came out here, and we were all at CPAC together. I wish I could have hung out a little more. Wait, let's turn this off. There, turn those off. Yeah, so let me zoom out a little bit. First, let's go north so we know which way we're zooming out. So this is on the western side. That's that thing we were just looking at. And there's a bunch of hotels right here and the airport. And they got so many calderas on this island, like that. And this one is like a total volcano full of water or something. I don't know what's going on in there. It looks like it's
Geyser.
something's putting that water in there. So yeah, Anna Kaitana right there. That's where I would go first if I were to go to Easter Island because of that. I don't see any other examples, but there's some other dots here that you could show, but I always stand on this one and then yeah, I want to go in there, right? I mean, what the heck?
It's interesting. There's like symbols on like the heads, like when you dig deeper that you don't see in photos too often.
Yeah, it shows the amount of dirt that has moved on that island and how old they are, right? Anyways, yeah, it looks like it's just a river going right in. I mean, I don't know if you can get a boat in there, not with those rocks, but time passes and things get. But that does look symmetrical, and like you said,
That is
created.
way too symmetrical of an arch and a straight out canal, like either a secret modern day built like submarine base, which I highly doubt, or ancient as F and part of the macro terraforming that this place probably is. And
It
it's
is
super
interesting that it's near
fascinating.
the
I would
airport,
also
so
want to go there.
there
Kayak.
could be a train out there.
Oh, good point.
I like
What
this line
Julia
of
is
trees.
talking about, the Rongo language.
The
The
what?
Rongo mystery is absolutely crazy. Rongo, that's their pictographic language that they've now found on all of all the heads on the bodies. When you dig them out,
Yeah, you
there's
go
this
Right.
ancient inscribed Rongo pictographic language, complete language. They're like, oh, they weren't advanced, they had nothing. Blah, blah. No, super ancient, super old, super advanced.
Right. That's like we were talking earlier about
language, and it's
Isn't it
same
similar
language.
to the Indus Valley
It's
language?
the same
There's
one
some
as
connection to it.
in the Indus Valley. You got it, 100%. It's almost identical.
Like we were talking about this symbol found underneath the water in Yonaguni earlier, and it's actually Vinken.
It's actually what?
Vinken.
Really?
Romanian or ancient.
So I'm looking for one that's taking it off one of the Maoris. What are so they just basically they carved? Is this it? The Rongo, the second mystery of Easter Island in Chile.
Yeah, that's the Rongo pictographic language, and it's the same that's in the Indus Valley that neither have supposedly been
Similar, very
deciphered
similar.
by modern. Yeah.
This is why
And,
decoding the
it's
ancient language
also-
is so
so they
important,
were
and the
trying to
AI can help
claim-
with that.
It is, and there's major breakthroughs happening and coming, and you're so bang on with that, Julia. And that there was a prophecy by one of the Easter Island elders or shamans or something about in the future the language would be verified and like by set humanity's like official history or something like that. But that's currently in, I think, maybe Wikipedia, but like academic, officially, they don't even accept it as a real language, and they're like trying to claim it's fake and forged, and that it was just carved on by the inhabitants of the time of colonization, and that there was no evidence prior to that time of wood being brought by global trade. Only for now, when we started to dig out the Easter Island heads, the entire bodies are covered with the exact same pictographic Rongo language, proving
undeniable.
undeniably, right? Like, it's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, and it's like a little pictograms. I like the little guy on the tree. Is that an animal on the tree? I'm trying to get closer.
Look, similar to the ones I've seen in like around Nazca and Peru and Bolivia stuff too, kind of actually.
There they are. This is what I want right there. The one with the guy on the tree. Where's that one? I do speak Chinese, so I'm very interested in all the little pictograms and symbols. And I don't read Chinese very well, but I know how to. I studied characters for a long time.
The guy on the tree is not in this one.
Yeah, this doesn't look very much like Chinese. But then again, I think Chinese is just something even more ancient. I like that one right there. That one looks similar to.
Interesting that we're showing these. Hold on.
Hold on. What's that? I'm closing it all down. Too many tabs open. Yeah, that guy on the tree right there. That's an interesting one. It looks like that looks so weird. I'm pretty sure that's a tree with a guy climbing it. And you see what I'm talking about?
You were saying ancient Chinese glyphs. So.
Oh yeah, what is that?
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Keep that up. Don't close your tab. Don't close your tabs, Stig. This is Hans, one of the Dropa stones. How similar
Bidis,
those
but
ancient.
the glyph is very old. Chinese,
Yeah,
right?
there's no way I'm going to read those. I could recognize a couple of them, but they are ancient
They're
calligraphy.
very proto, yeah.
Very. Wow, and there's a couple things I do recognize on there.
Amazing. I
But
get this stuff.
yeah, what was that? Like some kind of money?
No, so that's a Bidisc, but the Bidiscs are very unknown as to where their origin comes from. This one I collected in Hong Kong. I have two of them that are very similar, different glyphs, but it's all proto-Chinese glyphics. So, these are several thousand years old writing. I don't know how old the discs are, but I'm curious why I have them with writing on them.
Well, they used to publish a
Badass.
metal. They used to publish a metal newspaper in the ancient Chinese. They would take like a sheet of metal and they would paint the Chinese characters on it and pass it around town, and they would copy it. And then I guess they would take them back and reuse them. I don't know. Maybe they just threw them away.
I have a book of money from all over the world. I have a bunch of old Chinese coins and old Chinese paper money as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to pull up some of that on a show one of these days. I've got money that doesn't even exist anymore, like Yugoslavia.
It's always a pain in the butt when they suddenly cancel you out and you can't cash that money in anymore. It happened to me in Taiwan. It happened to me with Vietnamese money once. I was holding on to it thinking it was going to be worth something. And then not valuable at all. Might as well throw it in the garbage.
All right, guys, I have an early morning meeting. I'm heading out of here, but
Thanks, Julia.
Can I show you one thing before you
No
go?
worries.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
absolutely.
Julia.
Okay, so we're gonna look at. I just happen to know right here. This is called Spanish Peaks, right there. Spanish Peaks is in Colorado, but right next to it, they've got these two volcanic dikes, so-called volcanic. I don't believe it, but the thing is how do they create it? Well, magma comes up into the cracks and fills the cracks and then gets hard. And then the other land erodes away. That's what the mainstream says. But when you look at this, you see these dikes coming up and jointing up, bumping up, actually curving upwards. I don't think that's what the geologists... I'd like to get a mainstream geologist to talk about that. This dike right here, to me, coming from the north and then jointing up with this other dike. And then over here, this other one, it does the exact same thing, but diametrically opposed. Up here, look at the way this thing joints up. Now, yeah, it goes on the other side, but it doesn't meet it. So it's like, did this happen naturally, or is that like created some kind of water
like
control?
The giant walls of America do that. There's so many of them. Anything that they tried to claim as a volcanic dike, pretty much at this point, the exact opposite is most likely
dikes.
from like the master builders, the Titans, or the Giants.
Yeah,
right. Like we got Titan dikes or possible leftover biogeology of trees, or who knows.
I'm looking for this other picture.
Demigod mining.
Oh, I'm gonna find it. It's
I'm interested to know about the uranium around Richat.
Oh, right, the nuclear.
So
that's what I want to know. I want to know about the uranium around that area. In that area,
we'll take a little research. To finish my point, right there in Colorado, some of these they come from mountains. I went to the ones in New Mexico. They start from mountains and they just make straight lines going across water. These two, one is Radial Mountain and the other one
Shiprock. Right?
Shiprock is right along the same path. So you've got basically they're controlling the Shiprock's down here.
And Shiprock interlock.
Let me put in the lines. So regarding your question about the uranium, I don't know that.
How high are all of these?
These are
2,000 feet.
The mountains are sitting there, and you can drive around the mountains, but down below it's just floodplains, just like out here, right? So, I mean, we can get into the
exactly. So you could flood them and essentially turn this desert stuff into like a paradise, like water cities, water
Well, I'll also have like theories of like
um, just irrigated
there's
lakes,
this
inland seas, and habitability.
Well, you
No
can see it's
lands.
14,000
What's that,
feet,
Julia? Sorry,
and
hold
then
on.
down below in the floodplain, it's about 6,000 feet. It to me, it just disturbs, it boggles the mind. Julia, I was going to try to show you a whole line of them. The ones in down in okay, first of all, you mentioned Shiprock, so let's go there. It's right over here on the corner near Four Corners, which is right there. I never went to Four Corners. I'm not interested in man-made modern day lines, but when you talk about the Shiprock and these long, I mean, a lot of people just say, "Oh, that's natural." I don't think so anymore. I don't think so. These are volcanic dikes just like the others, and they look like they're put there in a symmetric way. Also, there's some other symmetric things. If you zoom out, you can see this little thing. It's part of it. That's in Arizona, but there's some kind of a weird symmetrical thing happening at Shiprock. And look at this. Look how this line just goes right in the center. It's
Have
hard to
any of you
believe.
ever been there?
Yeah, I went there. I got a bunch of pictures, and also Michael Collins from Wandering Wolf did some drone footage. That's really nice. And what you get is here. You enter right here, and you drive along this road, and it takes about 4 miles. And then I cut over here, and I got a sample from this one right here. I went, and there's a road. Actually, maybe I'm wrong. Oh yeah. So I drove over it, and then I got a little sample from right here. Because I want to know, these dikes all have different material inside them. The ones up in Colorado look like a black and white granite.
What do
the
you do
ones
with your samples? Where do you get it tested?
Well, that's a different question. And by the way, Nikki Anna Jones, if you're familiar with her channel, she also went up here and grabbed
Did you
some
see I
samples.
just had balloons?
Did
you see that?
I did.
What? What happened?
Seriously, okay, I'm glad somebody saw it because I thought I was tripping.
Was
Like,
that a balloon in your camera?
dude, there was
Well, it
balloons.
popped up on her screen. It was crazy.
What did I say? There's a key word that just makes balloons go off. I want to say that word all the time.
Exactly.
Canyon. No,
Let me go down to. Let me just show you the one I went to because I got
Canyon
some
and the
samples from this
balloons
also.
go off, baby.
Okay, so here we are at Pie Town on Highway 60. And when I drove in here, I had just I almost run out of gas. Look at this way it curves here. But you can see the volcanic dike. It's got the snow on the top of it. I climbed up to the top of this thing. I was totally beat. And I walked across over to this little road here. Where is that road? Where is that road? I got lost? Anyways, it's not really. It's up here. Oh, right there. That's it, right there. So I walked across this, and I was looking for this because right here it reminded me of that stuff I just showed you in South Africa, where it's like double wide at the top, but it's like it turns into this wall. So I got a lot of pictures from here, and yeah, this one is like 100 and something feet high. So I was over here at the 60. Let me just go here first so you can see how high it is. And this is 12 miles long, and it's comes straight out from the mountains just like the other one, but it's totally parallel. See how big this is? So it's got the spine, the hard crystal spine in the middle, and the loose material on each side. That's the attributes I found. And so I climbed up there, and I got a little bit of that. But then there's the other one that's over here, 12. It's like 10 miles out this way. And it's parallel, like the same direction. So here's this one. This one is here, and this one is here. It took me a long time to drive over here and get in here, and I think it's right here where I went. And no, that doesn't look like it. And I got a big old rock from the middle of that. This, I know it doesn't look like much, but when you back out, you can start to see 12 miles long, like I just showed you in Colorado. Coming from the mountains, straight line, where they just like mining material and decided they wanted to block off these rivers so they can control the water.
Well, that's what my theories are of like basically there's this really healing, awesome water beneath the earth and that it was closed off. Like there was things done to cut that off and think about all the areas throughout the earth that would have that had access to those deep inner earth healing waters. And the things that you would have to do. So it may appear to be mining when really it was to cover up those access points around the world.
Well, yeah, I don't think they made this long line for just mining. They had a purpose, right? I mean,
I think there's we're looking at multiple things.
Global canal networks, there's infrastructure as well as built-in for agricultural
That's just
purposes
how they grew the
as
trees.
well.
So to cut off the routes as well, like certain things done to cut the water supply off, to cut that off. But I really want to know about the uranium. I just feel like there's probably a lot of uranium in that one area.
I agree. Yeah.
I would love to dive deeper into what the resources are and the minerals
or whatever.
One thing I found out, Pie Town is right at the Continental Divide, just like the one in Colorado I showed you, which is right here. Up there, this is up near Denver, but in the mountains. 2 dikes, one starting from the mountains. So I put the line next to it. So the line is right here. There's the mountain, there's the dike, and it goes like right there. And then up here, here's the mountain. It kind of wraps around and goes down this way. And there's another one that goes this way too, across the water. And that's the Continental Divide. And then down in Pie Town, New Mexico, you see the same thing going on. This long, it's not straight. It's when I say parallel, by the way, these things seem to have these switchbacks too. So you've got like a double dike going on here.
Highly engineered.
Water's going to find the easiest access. So if there's water along with these.
There's just
I didn't even know about this dike. I didn't even notice this one. This is a new one for me. I didn't even realize this was here. So there's like 2 right there. There's like a switchback, and you can see another switchback at the other end. Here, let me show you. I'm going to zoom out. So yeah, climbing. So by the way, this one's really high. The other one was like very small, but they're parallel. So one really high one going over here. By the way, when I drove through here, let me see if you can see this. No, too bad, because you can really see how the walls are exposed. Let me get rid of that. I was going to show you the switchback, and it's right about here. Like you can see one here. I call it a switchback because in many examples, it looks like whatever ancient machine like just did a quick switchback. But look how it's right there where the water goes. So it may be another line reinforcing a dam. Mm-hmm. And I didn't show that one in the Richat structure. I found 3 new dams made out of the same type of things. Not to the live audience. I showed you guys before. I'll show you that right now just because I think it's relevant. But so there's a switchback here, and then there's this parallel switchback right there. And there's more that goes down here and does some other stuff down here. So, I mean, it really should be documented. Let me find that thing. Let me find that thing. And I know you said you got to go, and I'm probably, it's already here. Let me show you this right here.
Yeah, we should close this up soon, but
this is the amazing. I was all about forget LiDAR. I said, we don't need LiDAR. But now this must be like a LiDAR shot. And I've been looking at this line for a long time. And I always suspected it meant something. But now with this new shot, I don't know if this is real LiDAR but you see the line continue across to the other side. Now I know they were damming it here, and they were damming it probably across this part here. You can see it over here. Mm-hmm. Some type of a damming action here, and then up here, you got a bunch of straight lines going up and down, in my opinion. Like they were just like creating walls to direct the water. This is a pretty good shot, and it makes me change my mind about LiDAR. Yeah. I think we should double down on the LiDAR in the deserts.
Hopefully they don't LiDAR shoot it down.
Sorry, yes.
Lots of comments. I haven't been paying attention to any comments. Oh, not on my end, but over here on this end, we got lots of comments. So, any more questions about anything at all? And what about you were talking, Bernie? You were talking about Colorado. I want to see that. Is there any chance we can look at it right now?
Oh yeah, we can still do that, Julia. If you got to go, and Hans as well. If you got to go, I can end it on your channels if you want. And Stig, we can stick around and do another hour or so. I've got.
I don't know about another hour actually. What is it now? It's almost 2 in the morning here.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Okay, good night, Julia.
Good night.
Hans, see you guys on the next one. Much love.
Yeah,
and
definitely. I've got morning meetings, so I gotta dust. But
Oh,
this is beyond fascinating. Oh my god.
we will
I
do
don't know
it
where I
again,
got
my
this.
friend. Thank you, and see you soon. Have a good day tomorrow, Hans, and I will share your website here one more time, brother. And thanks for joining
Yeah, I
us.
gotta subscribe to Julia. What is Julia's website? YouTube?
Both links are in the private chat, and then we're live
okay.
on the channel as well, but that's about to end. But we'll stay live on ours.
Appreciate
Hans,
it. Thank you guys.
you don't do YouTube either? You're not
I
YouTubing?
have a YouTube channel. It's called Giza Direct.
Okay.
Are we streaming to it right now? Do I need to send it on yours as well?
No,
or
no,
are we
I
on
don't stream anything there at all ever live. I haven't figured any of this out. It's kind of
Oh, bro! All you have to do to do that is hit the button in the top right corner that says "Share with your audience."
We'll figure it out.
Check
This is all new.
we should do it on the future. Absolutely.
I'm gonna be doing that
Much
from
love,
now
Hans.
on. I'm gonna be doing that
Yeah,
from
Giza
now on.
Direct is where I interview people. I've interviewed a couple of people. I've got a few more lined up. I want to do Patricia Iowan. I want to do Johnny Enoch. Some other
You've done a lot of work with Johnny on his channel as well, right?
Tim Hogan. I really want to interview him. Stephen Mailer on chematology. Yeah, there's a lot. Getting around to it, finding the time. If you don't spend the time, you don't make the time, right? So I'm making it all happen. So,
Or you could just be a slave to money and just work instead.
Well, that's what I do. I do graphic and multimedia design, and I'm very proficient in what I do. So it occupies a big chunk of my life. Anyway, appreciate all you guys' time. Cheers.
Thank you,
Much
Hans.
love. Thanks, Hans.
Nice to meet you today.
Likewise.
Hans is linked there in the live chat. Just also posted Julia's. Now we're going to end it on Julia's.
A big shout out to my little audience here. I got a few chats. Somebody asked where Jimmy is. Jimmy's